You ever have a day that feels like it was waiting for you, just to change your life? Yeah. That was me, Valerie, 27. Here in the beauty salon, sitting in this chair, asking for just a different haircut, while secretly hoping someone would cut off the part of my life that felt stuck. It was a Sunday, a heavy, humid, midsummer Sunday. My family had gone to the beach, but I stayed home. I don't know. The thought of a quiet day with no plans felt like heaven. I ate a late lunch, took a cool shower, slipped into a white skirt and a soft tank, then flopped on my bed with the AC blasting like a snowstorm, and then pop. A boom, somewhere down the block. The lights flickered, and the whole house exhaled into silence. No fun, just heat climbing the walls. I grumbled, grabbed a glass of water, and padded to the kitchen, already sweating. I was digging in a drawer for candles when I heard footsteps by the front room. Val, you home? It was Evan, my neighbor, since forever. He's that guy who always looks a little sun-kissed, like he carries summer in his pockets, tousled brown hair, easy smile, a way of showing up exactly when you don't realize you need someone. He leaned on the doorway and smirked. Transformer blue on maple. Whole streets out. Perfect, I said, rolling my eyes. I was really hoping to sweat through the fabric of space and time today. He laughed and scanned the room. Pool day would solve this. Too bad the pool's imaginary, I said, waving my glass. All I've got is hope in a kitchen sink. He tilted his head like a light bulb went off ironically. What about the backyard hose? 5 minutes under it, and you'll forget what heat even is. I crossed my arms. You are not about to act like a 5-year-old and shower in my backyard. He grinned. Wanna bet? Before I could stop him, he'd already walked through to the back, turned the spigot, and whoosh, the sound of water cut through the thick, stubborn air. From the patio door, I watched him test the spray with his hand. He turned and called, softer than I expected, Come on, Val, you're melting. I stood there, bare feet, sun pressing down on my shoulders, a thin breeze that felt more like a memory than a wind. And then I stepped outside. He lifted the hose. Ready? Wait. I put my hands up. No embouches. I'm not ruining this skirt. Then take the hose, he said, offering it with that dare in his eyes. The one that says there are only 2 choices, lively a little, or stay exactly the same. So I took it, our fingers brush, and somehow that was the part that made my stomach flutter. I aimed the stream straight up, letting it fall like a curtain of rain. It hit the patio and our toes, and then my shins, and then, because gravity is rude, soaked the hem of my skirt anyway. I squealed and jumped back. He laughed, full and easy, the kind of laugh that makes the day feel lighter. Okay, I said, pointing the hose at him. Your turn. He stepped into the falling water, closing his eyes, head tipped back, and I swear right then the yard got quiet. You know that feeling, like a moment is choosing you. The sun turned the drops into 1,000 tiny mirrors. He opened his eyes and looked at me through the rain. Better? I asked, suddenly breathless for no good reason. Getting there, he said, but you're still on fire. He reached for the hose. I let him have it, and with absolutely no warning, a cold sheet of water hit my shoulder, my collarbone, my neck. I yelped, which made him double over laughing, and I grabbed for the hose again. We wrestled for it like kids, slipping and sliding on the wet patio, both of us pretending we weren't exactly where we wanted to be. Water dripped from my hairline, my top clung, my skirt turned a shade more honest. I should have been annoyed, but all I felt was free. We chased each other across the lawn, the grass slick under our feet, the sun blinding and bright. Every time I thought I'd caught the hose, he'd twist away, wicked grin, eyes warm and bright like he knew a secret I was about to find out. Finally, we truced out of breath and laughing under the oak tree that watched my backyard grow up since before I did. He clicked the hose to a gentle mist, and it hung around us like fog, cool, silver air. You're shivering, he said quietly, stepping closer. It's not the cold, I said, and it wasn't. He noticed, of course he did. He always notices. He brushed a strand of wet hair off my cheek with the back of his knuckles. Val, I swallowed. What are we doing? Remember when we were 15? He said, voice barely there, and we hid under your porch during a storm because you were scared of thunder. I wasn't scared. I lied automatically. He smiled. You were, and I promised you I'd stay until the sky calmed down. He let the hose fall slack to the grass. I never really left. The space between us was a breath, maybe half a thought. He leaned in, slow enough for me to step back if I wanted. I didn't. Our lips met like the first clean drop of rain after a drought, soft, honest, new, no fireworks, no drama, just a yes that had been waiting years to be said out loud. When we pulled apart, our foreheads rested together and I could hear his breathing, steady and close. That was, yeah, he said. It was. We sat under the tree, backs to the rough bark, shoulders touching. He kept my hand in his like it was the most natural thing in the world. And we just exhaled. The backyard sounded bigger birds, a distant dog, the whisper of leaves. Somewhere, a neighbor's wind chimes tripped over themselves trying to keep up with the breeze. Do we pretend this didn't happen? I asked, half serious, half terrified. He tightened his fingers around mine. We could. Or we could stop pretending. I laughed a little. You make it sound easy. It isn't, he said. It's just worth it. We stayed there until the sun slid lower and the heat finally loosened. Drops glittered on the grass like someone had spilled a jar of tiny stars. He looked at me with that not smile. That's actually more than a smile. You're beautiful, he said, so simply it made my eyes sting. I opened my mouth, to deflect a joke, to dodge, to hide, but nothing came out. All the things I usually say to keep myself safe felt small next to the truth sitting between us. The truth that I had been lonely. Not loud, dramatic, loneliness, just the slow kind that moves in and rearranges your furniture when you're not looking. And here was this man I'd known in 100 small ways, offering something that felt like home. We kissed again, deeper, certain, still careful. The mist from the hose cooled the back of my neck. The sun warmed my knees. The world, for once, was exactly the right temperature. Then, faint. At first, I heard voices, my family. Back from the beach? We jolted like we'd been caught stealing time, which I guess we had. Evan shut off the water, shook his hair out like a Labrador, and grabbed the hose to recoil it. I smoothed my skirt, wrung out the ends of my hair, checked my reflection in the sliding glass door, flushed cheeks, bright eyes. A version of me I hadn't seen in a long time. Keep this between us? He asked, soft. Not sneaky gentle. For now, I said, just for now. He nodded. For now? We went inside just as the front door opened and the house filled with beach smell, salt, sunscreen, laughter. My mother called for me. My little brother yelled something about a sandcastle emergency. Life rushed back in, loud and familiar. Evan touched my elbow as he passed and whispered, "See you tomorrow." I didn't trust my voice, so I just smiled. He knew what it meant. That night, the power came back with a tired hum. The AC kicked on. Everything returned to the way it was. Except me. I lay in bed, clean hair fanned on my pillow, listening to the quiet machinery of the house, of fridge settling, the clock ticking, and I thought about what happened under the oak tree. Not the kiss, exactly, the choice. The one where I stopped waiting for my life to happen to me and met it halfway. The next morning, I watered the tomatoes. The hose felt different in my hands, like a secret handshake with the person I was the day before and the person I had decided to become. Evan wandered over with 2 iced coffees and sat on the steps like he'd always belonged there. We didn't map the future. We didn't label anything. We just chose, again, to show up. And that's why I'm here today, in your chair, telling you all this with foils in my hair and a cape around my shoulders, because sometimes the most ordinary places are where the truth is easiest to say. A blackout, a backyard, a hose, and a moment that knew my name. So what would you have done? Would you have stayed inside, waiting for the power to come back, or would you have stepped into the summer and let the rain find you? If this story found you at the right time, hit subscribe to Salon Confessions, leave a comment, and tell me your version of the summer blackout. I'll be right here next week, same chair, same mirror, ready to listen.